My 27F boyfriend, 30M, is upset that I won't give up or include him on my glamping weekends. Sorry about the formatting. We've been dating for about 2 years. And he has a daughter called Stacy. 3 or so years ago I was burnt out and decided to take a weekend getaway. I found out that about 2.5 hours away from where I live, there's a big national park that rents out bougie little cabins, so I decided to go there. I went swimming, roasted marshmallows, drank wine by the fire, enjoyed the scenery, and finally read a book I was dying to read but never had the time for. I threw my phone on Do Not Disturb and forgot it existed. I wanted to detach, and that's exactly what I did. I enjoyed the time to myself. I didn't want to think about work, school, or anyone other than me. It was so nice that I decided to make it a once-a-month thing. Most months I'd leave work Friday, immediately go there, and then come back Sunday night. Sometimes I'll leave Sat morning instead. I make sure any projects I'm working on are complete and that my apartment was clean for my return. I don't answer emails, calls. I don't even go on the internet. If it rains, I'll watch a movie or binge a show, but aside from that I try not to touch any tech. Cue me starting to date BF 30M. He didn't understand it. I explained that it was a way for me to relax, unwind, and get away from people. It was the only time I got to focus on me and mental health. He was annoyed and worried that I would leave my phone in my room and not respond to anyone. But that was the point. I didn't want to be disturbed. I let my friends and family know when I'm going and they won't hit me up. I stopped leaving it on Do Not Disturb though, just in case of an emergency. But then he started blowing me up all weekend. He didn't understand why I would need a break from him. But I couldn't get him to understand that it wasn't about him. I just wanted the weekend alone to relax and be adjacent to the great outdoors. After that argument, we decided that I would call him for a few minutes before he goes to bed to let him know that I'm safe, although he does his best to try to drag that conversation on forever. I thought that was the end of that. But now he frequently asks why I don't ever invite him and his daughter to go with. But that defeats the whole purpose of my getaway. Not to mention I spend most of my spare time with them already. I suggested that we can periodically plan other trips together. Some for the two of us and something more kid-friendly for everyone. But he conveniently only wants to plan things for the weekend I'm away, and be a homebody the rest of the time. Outside of this topic we don't argue much. But when it happens, he ties it back to this. One day I couldn't rearrange my schedule to pick up Stacy and he insisted it's because I only tolerate her. And he knows I only tolerate her because I haven't suggested taking her glamping with me one weekend to bond. Forget the fact that I've had one-on-one time with her numerous times to bond. And we have a great relationship. I just don't know what to do. If I include them once, I know one of two things will happen. He'll insist on coming all the time and that'll change the whole premise of my getaway. Or he'll think it's dumb and insist I stop going altogether. He has pretty much suggested the second option anyways. Also, our finances are separate, so this isn't about money. And he's never suggested that he thinks I'm cheating, going with someone else. How can I get him to understand? Drop this once and for all. Edit. I would happily let him do the same if he wanted. I'd watch his kiddo for a weekend a month if he wanted to take off. Why doesn't he plan a special weekend with his daughter the weekend of your glamping? From reading your comments, this is something you enjoy and love to detach for 2 days. BF has already interfered with it by making you call him when you don't want to be on the phone. Next, you will go fewer times, and 6 months it will become even less. If BF has his way, you won't go anymore. Time to look at the relationship. You sound like you don't get time to yourself and he wants you to be more involved in his daughter. What do you want overall? You may not get this with your BF. That's why people date, to see how compatible they are. As a fellow glamper who enjoys getting away, the problem is him. It's once a month. You could change it to once every 2 months and the other month do something with them. I'm more concerned about his wording and trying to manipulate you into doing what he wants. I'd tell him to suck it up. It's something you've done before you were with him and something you want to continue to do. He can organize a trip that doesn't take away from what you enjoy doing. This isn't about the glamping. This is about controlling your time and prioritizing him and his needs, not yourself. Don't let him dictate the terms of your life. He's trying to control you, and it's about his insecurity, nothing else. At the end of the day, he doesn't get to dictate how you spend your free time, and he either needs to accept that or you need to break it off, because his behavior is not okay, especially using a child to try to manipulate you. Everyone is giving you a rough time here. You're in a committed relationship. You can't do that and be in a relationship. It's not fair to him or the kid. Why can't they go with you? Blah blah blah. I think you have every right to continue this. Although maybe you should go every other month instead of monthly. You were doing this before you met this guy. He doesn't own you, and he isn't entitled to 100% of your free time. It's not up to him to allow you to go. It's up to him to understand why you need it and find something else to do with himself on weekends. When you're away, he knows you're not cheating on him. You don't have to rearrange your life and give up things that are important to you to be in a relationship. However, if he can't get over this, it may become a deal breaker for him where he issues an ultimatum. That's a selfish act, but he won't see it that way. He'll see it as trying to save the relationship. You may have to choose at some point, him or your solo trips. The fact is, even if you get along great in every other aspect of your relationship, his refusal to accept or understand your solo trips may ultimately make you incompatible. I say stand your ground. Don't give up on something this important to you. Try to help him understand, but be prepared for him to end the relationship if he refuses to get it. But think about this. If a man is so insecure and self-centered that he wants to take away your biggest coping and stress relief outlet, do you really want him in your life? Feel free to downvote me. Everyone. I simply believe the op has the right to continue doing the thing that means so much to her even while in a relationship. Are there other aspects of your relationship you've given up for your boyfriend? There is a lot of people that do not understand wanting time for oneself or to be disconnected from the internet, but that is his problem. You need to have a serious discussion. Tell him this is taking a toll on your relationship and that he needs to respect the fact that this one weekend a month is only for you. Tell him you don't want to hear about this again. A partner who cares about and respects you would honor your time and help you protect it, not try to guilt you into giving it up. I have a thing once a week for about 3 hours. I've participated for more than 35 years. My family has always made it work through babies, school-age kids, scouts, sports, dance classes, teens, work, everything. My husband doesn't exactly understand it, but he knows it's important to me. And he doesn't ask me to miss. He took care of our babies and toddlers so I could go. He adjusted his work schedule. He supports my commitment because that's what partners do. What is sacred to me is protected by him. Your BF is not being fair. This is not a small issue. If he can't wholeheartedly support your needs, whether he understands or not, you will have to consider whether he is capable of being your life partner. Tell him to go fishing, hunting, or something he enjoys while you do or get away. I get it. I need some solitary time myself to recharge and get my good thinking done. It's a life that isn't for everyone. I've had my own share of partners who've been contentious and/or suspicious of my alone time. Frankly, I consider these people a lost cause. They don't last long with me. There's a lot of people who don't need this kind of alone time, and they'll never understand it. They'll see this need for space as a personal slight. So your choice is between appeasement and your own peace. Personally, I'll always choose the latter, but where do your priorities lie? It sounds like this is your only hobby. The only thing you do just for you regularly. Some people, like me, read and collect books. Also, a very solitary pursuit. Some people are in bowling leagues without their or they like clubbing with their best friends. Sans partners. It really sounds like he wants all your spare time and doesn't think you should want any time outside of work without him. Maybe that is what his former SOs were like, and he considers that normal. I hope if you continue this relationship that you too see a counselor to find out why he is so stuck on this issue. I couldn't stick with someone who harped on me this way and kept trying to wear down till I gave up the things I love to do. Does it bother him that you do this without him, or just that you do this alone? This is not the guy for you. A lot of red flags here. This is simply about taking away something that makes you happy. I don't think this has anything to do with him feeling left out or thinking it's stupid. He just hates that no matter what he says you won't change your mind. He can't control you. So you've been having this argument every month basically for 2 years? I'm in favor of just telling him to piss off. This is what you're doing, and if he can't handle it, he can piss off. It's been a tradition longer than you've been a couple. The manipulation using the kid is where I'd draw the line though. Fuck that noise. I'd only suggest compromising on time once he can go 23 months without crawling up your ass about this. What about once or twice a year, doing it as a family unit? Gross. He sounds terrible. You've allowed him to crush your boundaries. Keeping your phone on. Calling him on your weekends away. Trying to guilt you through his daughter. Trying to manipulate you into capitulating and giving up your weekends away. Don't be surprised when he rolls up on you next time you are camping because he put a tracker on your car. This guy isn't for you. He is selfish and can't handle the fact that you are independent. You aren't his daughter's mother, and that he doesn't get a say in what decisions you make and how you spend your time. Dump him. He's being an awe. You have this one boundary and he keeps chipping away at it, using one reason after another why you should not have this boundary. This should be throwing up some big red flags for you. He either shuts this down or you break up. There is no reason why you cannot have this time away from everyone and everything, and if he can't understand that and appreciate it, then this is not the person for you. I would end this if he can't leave you alone about this. I'd be okay with a person I'm casually dating doing this, but not long-term or married. I don't want to be away from my husband for a weekend month, and if he wanted or needed that time away from me, we would not be compatible. Nothing wrong with what you do, but this source of contention will not go away for him or you, and neither of you are wrong. You're just not right for each other.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.